Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the April 21st edition of Courtside with Coach Crist. I'm Greg Crist. That's Dave Gorby. We're back at Pinheads of the Gorge tonight, bringing you the show live again from here. We'll be moving outside and going around to some different places here before long. Gorb, what's happening?
Not too much.
Same old stuff.
Same old stuff.
Track coaching now.
Right.
All right. First thing we like to do every Thursday night, the first thing we need to do is to go out to our one eye in the sky, Muggy McLeod. Muggy, that chopper is rocking tonight. What's happening?
Got 3 microphones or something.
Yes, Coach, we are, good evening. We are running high on polyethylene, bucamolage, some kind of fuel. I don't know what it is. But anyway, other words, I think my pilot drank some vodka and, then used the tank for, the wrong purposes. But anyway.
Yeah.
So, as I was saying, good evening, Coach. This is Muggy McLeod with your one eye in the sky in our Chopper 1 traffic weather team, reporting to you live. Currently flying overhead in the Oak Hill area, watching traffic backup near Highland and Jones Avenue.
We're familiar with that.
Yes, and so you can understand that after 420, why those two roads make sense.
Yes, I do. Now I do. I didn't before.
Yes, and for some odd reason, traffic seems very slow there. And there's a very skunky smell in the air, but, we seem to be slowing down as well. Right. And so, and of course, there's Posey hanging out on Highland.
Of course he is. Of course he is.
Yes. So as we move now over the very contradictory Park Drive and go, think about it.
Yep, Park Drive.
Okay.
Sit, go. Gotcha.
Yes, someone in this town needs to make up its mind or call the mayor, Danny Wright, at 304-469. We are now flying above Tudor's Biscuit World, which is ironically and conveniently located beside the Highland Memorial Park.
Yep, there we go. Good spot to be for them.
Yes. Tonight's weather is brought to you, ironically, by Tudor's, where each gravy and one comes with a Tide stick and a defibrillator to keep their repeat customers alive.
There you go.
And the Tide stick, of course, to keep their wife beaters looking sharp. As for the weather, guess what? It's crappy here.
Yeah.
But it's bound to get better over the weekend.
Yes.
Otherwise, you can call and complain to the mayor, Danny Wright, at 304-469. Okay, Coach. That does it for me, Muggy McLeod, and your one eye in the sky, Chopper 1 in our traffic and weather team. Over and out.
Over and out, Muggy. We appreciate you, buddy. Be careful up there in the sky.
Yes, sir, Coach.
All right. Happy 420.
Yes, sir. Same to you and the high above.
Yes, sir. Muggy McLeod coming to us live from Highland, Jones Avenue. So, good report there from Muggy on here on the 420 day. Highland's adequately named.
I was trying to wonder if he had a microphone
that chopper
outside
was right.
of it,
that chopper,
or he opened up the door or something like that. Maybe
it may have been hanging out the door. Yeah, very well could have been. Yeah, chopper was rocking.
Man, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it was rocking. That's for sure. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this track. Now you're doing the you're in charge of the distance runners.
Well, that's why I've been working. That's why I've been working a little bit, and the one thing I remember from Coach Gene, not that I was a track guy, but I've listened to him talk and watch him do. And that's a pretty good guy to watch.
Yeah,
and I remember he used to do a lot of road work with those guys. Like he would drive that yellow car. I can't remember the type of car, but it was yellow.
Yeah,
you remember that thing?
Oh yeah.
And he had checkpoints out in the middle of town. Just just hear him yell at him. Maybe a little spit would come out too. But yeah. So I find myself doing that. I think
you learned well.
I think I learned from the best, I would say.
Yeah, he was.
So we'll see. We have a meet tomorrow in Charleston. It's George Washington's is hosting the meet, Patriot Invitational, and I'm not real too sure of everybody there. There's so many meets this weekend. There's Woodrow's having a meet. Pikeview and Concord is having a meet Saturday. And then down in the Charleston area, Hurricanes having a meet Saturday, and I think Polka is having a meet Saturday. So I'm not exactly sure who's going to be there.
Right.
But G-Dub's a regional opponent, and that's somebody that we got to see how we are against them.
You guys have been faring pretty well. I mean,
we've had 2 meets so far, and the boys have come in 3rd and 1st in both meets, and I think the girls got like 10th in the first meet, but then I think they came in 3rd place. They did come in 3rd place last meet. So
you was talking about Coach Gene. I didn't run in track either. I was through the shot put a little bit, not very well. I'll tell you a couple stories about that. But our track coach would say to the distance runners, he would tell them, "Y'all stay on the right side of the road and get back quick as you can." That's what Coach White would always tell them, that. Stay on the right-hand side and get back quick as you can. That was his coaching.
Yeah.
And so in middle school, I had a coach by the name of Billy Jean Kincaid. A lot of people probably remember Coach Kincaid. His brother, of course, Blackie, played pro football and, very well known in the area. But anyway, Billy Jean was a heck of a track guy. I think he ran track in South Carolina. But anyway, we had gone out for the track team in 8th grade.
Okay.
So I'm going to do the shot put. Okay. So I'm out there hoofing that shot, throwing that thing, man. It's not going 10 yards, 30 feet or ever how far, and I'm trying to lug that thing around like throwing a bowl. I'm like, God, how's people do this?
So wait, what grade did you say you was in?
We were in 8th grade.
I feel what you're doing.
So we go to our first track meet, and Mount Hope is in it. Earl Jones is in it.
Yeah.
Earl Jones, is 6, 8, 9, 10, whatever he was in 8th grade, weighed 170 pounds, skinny as a rail. He takes his shot and goes, it fires. It looked like a meteorite going out there. I'm like, what the heck, man?
Yeah.
So as the track meet wore on, I'm watching him and throw my little shot out there as far as it would go, which wasn't very far. And they threw his shot back to him one time, and it rolled right past me, and I was like, wait a minute. I picked his shot up. I picked mine up. Mine was like a 15-pound bowling ball. His was like a marble.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's going on here? I just grabbed his and went, threw it like a baseball, threw it way out there. I was like, Coach Kincaid, man, I think this is the wrong shot. And he's like, yeah, I believe it is. He said, I believe that one belongs up at the high school.
When you said 8th grade, I had a good feeling.
Oh, my gosh, that shot weighed a ton. I couldn't throw it nowhere. So that was my great track story. But anyway, they're doing pretty good. And matter of fact, our athlete of the week has a little connection to the track team tonight. We'll announce that. Okay. We had planned on doing a baseball game, but due to some unforeseen circumstances, I couldn't make it. You couldn't make it, so we didn't get to do Woodrow and Oak Hill last night. I don't know how it turned out. Have you heard?
Oak Hill won.
Oak Hill beat
Oak Hill won 6-1 or something. Something like that, yeah.
Good deal. Oak Hill's baseball team's been playing pretty well.
I know that.
I tell you what,
I know that game the other night y'all did.
Oh my gosh, Gorb, it was tough, man. 32 runs. I was like, is this ever going to end? 5-1. That sounds good. That'd been a fun one to call there.
Wonder how Coach Boyd thought about giving up 14 runs.
He wasn't too happy about it, and in fact, he was trying to hold off and using Braxton Hall as closer.
Right.
But they were ahead. Oak Hill was ahead 6-0. Was it Polka?
Yes.
Polka comes back. They scored 9. It was 6-3. Then the next inning they scored 9 or 10, made it 13-9. Then Oak Hill comes back and scores 4, makes it 13-all, and then 14-all, and then 15-14 or 15-13, whatever it was.
Right.
And then they just kept going back and forth scoring. And so finally, in that last inning, he put Braxton in. Braxton set him down 1-2-3. He said he didn't really want to use Braxton, but he got to get that mess over with. Right. In fact, he told me after it was over that he should have paid us to come and do that game because it was so bad. But it wasn't really a bad game, and it wasn't a lot of errors, wasn't a lot of walks. It was just, there were some walks. There was a lot of hitting.
Yeah,
obviously. A lot of hits. The others like 19, 20 hits, something like that. So people were hitting the ball. I don't know if that's good hitting, bad pitching, but either way, it wasn't that bad of a game. It was just a long, long, long game. So anyway, that was last week. We'll try to get out and do another game this coming week, at least one baseball, maybe a softball. one or the other.
Right.
Maybe both. We'll try that. Weather's supposed to warm up and be nice, so hopefully.
I do have a meet next week.
Next week?
Yeah.
Okay, well, report into us so we'll know what's going on.
Yes, sir.
Our Athletes of the Week last week was a co-athlete of the week win for, of course, our good buddies Jordan Burdett and Marshall Wood.
Hey, did we ever get an update? Like how?
I contacted them last week to see what the update was over the weekend. It's this coming weekend when they play. So
they didn't want to do anything over Easter.
Right. Took Easter break, so they're supposed to get back with me and let me know how it goes Saturday.
That's more time in the gym for.
That's right.
Yeah.
More exercise, more practice.
Yeah.
More weightlifting. Yeah, all that. So they're supposed to do that Saturday. So they're supposed to report back to me Saturday how it turned out. So we'll have it.
That's good.
We'll have the results.
Have a report.
Yeah, next week on the show we'll have a report. So may even get one of them to call in and give us a live report.
Good.
So we'll try that. But anyway, we appreciate those guys. We'll get their stuff out to them as soon as I get their addresses. I got Marshall's, but I haven't got Jordan's yet. But we will have our this week's Athlete of the Week. We'll announce that after we take us a little break and come back. We had a great guest last week, real fun interview with Brian Joswiak, former WU great, All-American, NFL first-round draft pick. That was a lot of fun to talk to him. We hope to get him on again soon. We had a good time with him, and we look forward to those guys all the time. Tonight, I think we got another good guest tonight. We're hoping Mr. Ted Valentine, who is longtime NCAA official, officiated a bunch of Final Fours and NCAA tournament games. So we hope to get him on. The plan is to call him up and have him answer. We don't know if that's going to happen or not. All right. Let's get us a quick break in here. When we come back, we'll have our Athlete of the Week and who knows what else. You're watching Courtside with Coach Crist. I'm Greg Crist. That's Dave Gorby. We're at Pinheads of the Gorge. Busy night here at the bowling alley as usual. Come on out and have a cold beverage and some good food and bowl a little bit. We'll be back after these messages. Stay with us. Welcome back to Courtside with Coach Crist, Greg Crist, Dave Gorby. We're at Pinheads of the Gorge tonight. And as always, a rocking house here tonight. It's not ladies' night anymore. That's over.
Still a good crowd.
But you got a nice crowd in here. See one of our old buddies over there.
What do you think? The Fayetteville guy? Is that Jason Russell?
Yeah, Jason Russell. I was going to say Jason. Now I was like, oh, wait a minute. Is that his name? Yeah, Jason Russell. I ain't seen him about 5 years. So he showed up tonight. We have an official, which I can't remember his name. Guy used to officiate my ball games, and I can't remember his name.
Think of his name
over in Greenbrier County. But, a lot of familiar faces in here. Not necessarily familiar names.
Yeah, basketball guy, Corte Hall down there, too. I mean,
I'm the world's worst when it comes to names. I get everybody's name, either forget them or get them pronounced wrong, like I did Brian Joswiak last week. All right. This week's Athlete of the Week, we said we would let you know who that Athlete of the Week is. And this week at Gino's Pizza, Courtside with Coach Crist, Athlete of the Week, is a young man by the name of Conlon Brooks. Conlon is just a freshman, but in 2 meets at Polka, he was first place in the 100-meter, first place in the 200-meter, and he also was part of the team, first place in the 4x100 and first place in the 4x200. So, Conlon.
I'm coaching him, too.
Are you?
Nah. He's making me look good.
I was getting ready to say, 100 meters not very long distance.
No, but like a freshman, man, he's been doing real good. And, Leonard didn't do the first meet. He did the second meet, and he only did the 100 and the 4x1. And, he beat Leonard in that.
And if
I may have said something to Leonard about that, but
I was going to say, if you've seen Leonard Farrow run, beating him is quite a chore because that dude can fly.
Yeah, so
we saw that in football season, and he like you said, he's beating him.
But yeah, Colin's a good kid, and he comes every day. I mean, he's putting in work, and there's a reason why he's up there, and that's
Well, congratulations to Colin. He is our Gino's Pizza Courtside with Coach Crist Athlete of the Week. And, of course, he'll get free Gino's coupons. He'll get Tudor's biscuits for free. He'll get a nice certificate. Of course, he gets his name broadcast here on Courtside with Coach Crist to millions of people out there, and it'll change his life forever. It probably really won't. It'll give him a free pizza and a free biscuit and a free certificate. Other than that, really probably won't have any impact at all whatsoever on his life. Again, we're talking about our guests that we're having tonight. We are having Ted Valentine, who's a longtime official. And, normally we have WVU guys on and all that kind of stuff. He's not a WVU guy, but I'm sure he's had some WVU games over the years, I would think.
I remember he used to call when we were in the A10.
Right.
Like right at the end of I don't know about 80s, but like right when we were at the A10 at the end, I remember he did games.
Yeah, he did games. He had some random feuds there with Knight. I think him and Knight bumped heads a few times. And so it'd be fun to talk to him. We hope, I was saying earlier today, had a little trouble getting contacted with him and getting on the same page when we were supposed to do this and all that. The last word I had was that we were going to call and we were going to talk to him during the show. So I'm hoping he answers when I do call.
Okay.
So that'll be fun. We also have Dr. Crist coming on here in just a little bit. Dr. Crist going to be on talking about playing through pain. And I told him he couldn't bring himself into the equation, but he hurt himself last couple weeks ago falling off a ladder. So he's going to talk about the psychology of playing with pain. He says there's a lot of research on that.
Okay.
All right, Dave, looks like we got us an audience caller here. Courtside with Coach Crist. Who am I talking to?
Hey, Coach, what's up, man? It's Bernie Chong.
Bernie Chong calling, I guess, in honor of 420, no doubt.
Yes, sir, man.
Awesome.
Hey, Coach. Hey, man, I'm a first-time caller, man.
First-time caller, Bernie Chong. That's awesome. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, better buckle up, Coach. It's going to get heavy, man.
Absolutely. First-time caller gets a little drum roll and a cymbal, and in case you couldn't hear it, there it is again. So first-time caller, Bernie Chong. Now, you're the younger brother of Tommy Chong of the famous Cheech and Chong, correct?
Yes, sir, Coach. That's right, man.
Awesome. We loved that back in the 70s.
Yes, sir. We've been hanging out and, just hanging out, man, for a long time.
I hear you. Yeah. A lot of our younger viewers won't remember Cheech and Chong, but anybody within 10 years of my age, either direction, definitely remembers Cheech and Chong.
Yes, sir, Coach. And you're pretty old, so that makes anybody else that knows about him pretty old too, man. 'Cause, you know, Brother Tommy's 84 years old now, man.
Wow.
Dig it.
Wow, didn't know that. Did not know
man.
that. I didn't know he was that old.
Yeah, and my buddy Cheech, you know, nobody knows, but, you know, his uncle called him a little chicharronga, which means, you know, a little pig pork skin, you know, when he was a little baby. That's why they call him Cheech, man.
Oh, didn't know that. That's interesting. Yeah.
So, you know, Coach, yesterday you said was 420, man, and you know how heavy that day is, man. Like, me and Cheech and Posey spent the day volunteering, man.
Yeah? What'd y'all do?
Yeah. Well, we went up to this old farmer's house, man, and we cut down some weeds and burned them for him, man. You know what I'm saying? It was far out.
Yeah, I bet it was. Probably far out after it was over, huh?
Yeah, man. It's still 420 in my book.
I heard that.
So, you know, I guess that Gorby's like with you, right? He's like your Cheech, man. He's a heavy dude, man.
Yeah. He's my left-hand guy, yeah.
Yeah, it's heavy. Weren't you his basketball coach?
I was his basketball coach, yes.
Yeah, so then, Coach, are the rumors true that you kicked him off the team for wearing high-heel sneakers and acting like a queen?
No, those rumors are not true. That's just in a song. That wasn't about him.
Okay. I heard he was a real basketball Jones, though.
He was.
Not Earl Jones.
Right.
Not Earl Jones, man, but basketball Jones.
Right, and that's our second reference to Earl Jones tonight. Yeah, he was not Earl Jones for sure. We didn't have any Earl Joneses, did we, Gorb? We didn't even have anything close to an Earl Jones. No. But we may do with what we had.
Yeah, Coach. So, man, you know, you got that cool cat on the show tonight, man. He's ref some big games, and but you know, shouldn't you have had him in February, man?
Well, he was busy in February calling games. So it's hard to get him.
His last name is, you know, Valentine. I just figured February.
I got you. Yeah,
you know, who's been celebrating 420 bigger than me? It sounds like you, Coach. You don't get nothing, man.
No, it wasn't me.
All right. So then my question tonight, Coach, it's you know, it's been bugging me for a long time, man, and you know, so I need to know who won the cornhole tournament last week, man, and then Polka, the boys, JB and Little Marshall Wood, or Eight Finger Buck and Blind Brian, man. I know you got listeners who want to know.
I think Buck and Blind Brian won, as far as I know. I spoke to Marshall Wood earlier in the week, and I made sure that they're supposed to give me an update, but they don't actually participate in another tournament until this coming Saturday.
Oh, okay, man. Well, you know, every Saturday is like the same Saturday to me, man. So I just thought it was this Saturday.
I got you.
Well, maybe they can be athletes of the week again. You know?
Yeah. It's hard to win it twice.
Well, those two, you know, if they can't be athletes, they need to be athletic supporters.
That's right. Well, I think they're probably more of that than they are athletes these days.
Yeah. So, you know, Coach, you know, really the question, I guess, is for Dr. Crist tonight, man. You know, he's a heavy dude.
Yep.
I think he fell off a ladder, man. That's no good. But, you know, nothing a little gummy won't take care of.
That's right.
You know, I don't feel no pain, man. I don't know why I haven't felt pain in 25 years, bro. But, you know, maybe tonight he can talk a little bit about pain and how it affects athletes and stuff, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, probably can. Yeah, he's talked about that a little bit, about the psychology behind that. So he says there's lots of psychology and lots of research dealing with that particular subject. So, yeah, we'll pass that on to him.
Yeah, that's deep, man. That's really heavy, Coach. Anyway, man, I got to roll, literally.
Okay.
Me and that crazy cat Posey, we're gonna go to Long John's, and we're gonna ask them for a box of free crunchies to take care of our munchies, man.
Oh, good deal. They'll give you those
crunchies. They're the bomb, man.
Oh, they're the best. Yeah. Even
Coach.
Even if you're not high, they're good.
Yeah, don't matter if you want to get high or you want to get low.
Yeah, yeah, I guess so. So anyway, M crunchies are good for that. So anyway, all right, Bernie Chong, we appreciate you calling in, and we appreciate your you continuing to be environmentally sound. I know the rolling paper you use is biodegradable, so we appreciate that. And
up in smoke.
Yep, and the plants that you use are, of course, replenishable, so you can plant them again. Yeah. So,
back to nature, baby. Back to nature, man.
All right, Bernie.
Okay, Coach.
Appreciate you.
You take care, Coach. Peace out.
All right, peace,
Love,
Bernie.
Love, peace, and hair grease.
There you go. All right, Bernie. We appreciate you, buddy.
Later, baby.
All right, bye-bye. Bernie Chong. calling us. We don't know where he's at, but he's calling us in honor of, in retrospect, 420, which was yesterday. That's the big marijuana day, I guess. That's what I understand. Everybody talks about marijuana on 420. I'm not sure. Not sure why 420. I don't really get it. Maybe some of our stoner listeners can let us know. I have no idea. So, but anyway, we appreciate old Bernie Chong calling us and filling us in and asking the question for Dr. Crist, which we will get that question to Dr. Crist here in just a minute. So we're going to take us a break right now. When we come back, we will have the good doctor on, and we'll be talking about playing with pain, is my understanding. Yep. We'll be back after these messages. Stay with us. Welcome back to Courtside with Coach Crist. I'm Greg Crist. That's Dave Gorby. We're at Pinheads of the Gorge. A lot happening in here tonight. Not ladies' night, but still a lot of activity going on. Yep. We're at the point in time in our show when we welcome to our show none other than Dr. Crist from down in Alabama. Dr. Crist is here tonight to talk a little bit about pain. And if I understand correctly, that's what Chong wanted to know. Bernie Chong was asking questions about feeling pain. He didn't understand what that meant.
It sounded like that's never happened to him. So, yeah. Well, good for him.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't understand, but yep, good for him. So what's up tonight?
So, I wanted to talk a little bit about this notion of playing in pain, because in reality, it's kind of a little bit of a misnomer. Because most of the time in athletics, they're actually playing in absence of pain.
Right.
But, let's talk about that a little bit. I think that there's a culture that exists in certain athletic endeavors, like football would be a good example, where playing in pain is seen as a good thing. Right. Players are respected for sacrificing their bodies. It's kind of a badge of honor that they're playing in pain. And they may also be considered weak if they don't play in pain, if they succumb to their injuries and don't get back out there and help. But the reality is athletes are getting, I wouldn't say smarter, they're getting more educated about stuff.
Yep.
And so you're starting to see a little bit of a change as athletes are coming to realize there are a lot of risks to playing in pain.
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about what pain is.
So pain is a feeling.
Pain is what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Pain is what?
It's a feeling.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's a feeling. And so it's a feeling in that it's similar to anger or frustration or depression or whatever other feeling you want to come with. It's just a feeling. And so what happens is your body has a physiological response to something, and then our brain interprets it. We've talked about that before.
Yep.
The psychology interprets it, and it interprets it as pain.
Yep.
And it's very basic point. Pain is a signal that something is wrong. All right? So this signal comes up, and it's telling your brain something is wrong. Something needs attention. Something is hurt. It needs to be fixed. It needs to be protected. But definitely something is wrong. And so what happens when players play pain, of course, you hear them. Able to keep their hands in the water much longer than the men we've been testing. It's been pretty consistent. Let's try it again.
But it got longer.
Oh, it got longer. Oh, yeah, it got longer. Well, what is that? That's motivation. Right? That's a motivation to prove how manly I am, and so on. And again, I go back to this. We talked about there's a chapter in your textbook called Motivation and Emotion, because those things are tied together. And just through being highly motivated, you can block out the pain. A lot of times you ever hurt yourself, the first reaction is to reach up and start rubbing it. Right. And it actually relieves the pain. That actually works. Because pain travels across what we call slow firing neurons. And when you rub the skin where it hurts, that signal goes through fast-firing neurons, and that signal actually beats the pain signal to the brain. And so it temporarily blocks the pain signal because you're feeling something else. So that actually does work. It doesn't work for the long term, but it does work in the short term.
Immediately.
Yeah. So, like I said, though, I think people are becoming much more aware. They're much more concerned about the long-term effects of having played with pain and played with injury. You're seeing more and more athletes stepping away from the game early. Yep. I just saw this week that a 27-year-old linebacker in the NFL said, "I'm retiring.
Yep.
Not going to do it anymore. Yep. Too many concussions, too many injuries. I'm not doing it anymore." He's 27 years old.
Yeah.
He's been in the league, 4 or 5 years maybe. So you're seeing people do that because they look at these guys who played these long NFL careers and they're dying in their 50s. Yeah. They're not able to walk. Right. They have multiple health conditions. And people going, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it for me for the long term to submit to something like that. Yeah. So hopefully the culture is changing. We're getting away from this sort of gladiator mentality, right. Which is why I see football. The football players are the modern gladiators, and we're getting a little bit away from that and a little bit more toward, if we're going to play and be effective, we have to take care of ourselves. Yep. We have to be healthy. We have to eat right. We have to work out right. We have to exercise right. And when we get hurt, we got to go and sit down and get that taken care of.
Well, a lot of them too. You're talking about paydays, and I know a lot of them are. The fans are like, "Why ain't he playing? He's got a sprained ankle, or why ain't he playing? He's got a bruised hip, whatever." But you got to think about their shoes. They're thinking, "Hey, if I go out here and get hurt worse, I'm gonna get paid less, and every time I get hurt, I'm gonna get paid less. So I'm not gonna risk it. I'm gonna get myself healthy before I go back out there." So that has a little bit to do with it too, the financial end.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, I actually just read a comment today about our new big quarterback signing at WU, JT Daniels.
Yep.
And one of the comments is that apparently his parents have gotten involved in the past when he's been injured, and they will send out a doctor from California that says he's okay.
Right.
Let him play. And boy, that really concerns me.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, especially if our offensive line's not a little better. Too, you look at. I bet boxers are like, and these MMA guys or whatever, WWE, whatever, at MMA fighting. Mm-hmm. I bet you they're like, "What do you mean play with pain? What's that?
Right? What is that? Yeah.
Those guys play with some pain."
Oh yeah. That's the name of the game. There.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the more pain you can inflict, the better off you are. Yeah.
Right. That is exactly right.
Yeah, good stuff. And you talk about the painkillers and the shots and all that, and you do have to worry about these guys doing that kind of. And I don't think they do that as much as they used to. I think you might see them, a quarterback or something, maybe get a shot in the ribs or something, but they can avoid getting hit there and that sort of thing. But it ain't like it used to be when they used to get shot up and go right back out there, man, playing broken bones and everything else.
Yeah.
I think the attitude is changing. That's for sure.
One of the medicines they use, and they'll give this to you in the emergency room. I know because I just participated.
I knew we was going to get to that.
It's called ketamine.
Yep.
And they'll shoot you with ketamine, and ketamine is a derivative of PCP.
Yeah.
And it doesn't numb the pain. It just makes you not care that you hurt.
You're kind of happy that you hurt.
There you go.
Yeah, you don't. It's not a big deal. Yeah, it hurts, but so what? And so they'll use ketamine when they're resetting broken bones.
Wow.
Shoot you up and reset your bones. Yeah.
There you go. Good deal. Sounds like fun, don't it? All right, man. We're going to get you off here. Burning Chong took a little bit too much time, so we're going to have to close this out a little short tonight. This is fun to talk about, though. Interesting stuff, and we'll talk about this some more. Maybe we can talk about it again next week. It'll be get some more talk in on it because we didn't get to address it well enough tonight. And we'll have to make sure our audience caller understands that we're on a time schedule here. I am on a little bit more of a time schedule tonight because of our guests, so that happens sometimes. So anyway,
maybe he took a shot of ketamine and doesn't care that he's running you over.
That could probably be it. I'll ask him that. All right, we appreciate it. Good stuff as always, and we will talk to you again next week.
All right, take care, Greg.
All right, love you too. Dr. Crist coming to us from Alabama, talking to us about playing with pain. That's good stuff, and he's right. There is a changing of the culture in that.
Right.
It used to be that, like you said, that was a badge of honor to play hurt. Now they don't do it. I mean, rarely. I mean, you'll see some people, you look at Baker Mayfield this year playing with his pain. But in his case, and in a lot of them's case, the doctors will tell them it's not going to get any worse. Yeah, if you can play, you can go ahead and play. It's not going to hurt you anymore to play. So that happens a lot of times. All right, let's get this quick break in. While we're on break, we'll try to get a hold of our special guest tonight. If we get him, Gorb, we'll be good. If we don't, me and you'll talk it out.
Right,
so we'll be back here on Courtside with Coach Crist, Greg Crist, Dave Gorby, coming to you from Pinheads of the Gorge. Stay with us. We'll return after these messages. Welcome back to Courtside with Coach Crist. I'm Greg Crist. This is Dave Gorby. We are coming to you live from Pinheads of the Gorge, in case you didn't notice from the noise in the background, the place we like to show up occasionally. Usually we show up, it's ladies' night, not tonight, but normally it is. And we're sorry about that it's not ladies' night. Anyway, we are at that place and time in our show when we welcome our special guest to the show. This week, I think we have a very special guest. I've been excited about this one for a while, Dave, and I talk to you about these guests all the time. How excited I get to talk to these people. I think it's so unique and so interesting to hear their stories. And this guy, if you are a college basketball fan, which we all are, you know who this guy is. Right. You've watched him, you've seen him, and you know who he is. And we're excited to welcome to the show Mr. Ted Valentine. Mr. Valentine, we appreciate you coming on. You've had a wonderful career officiating college basketball for probably 4 decades now. You've had, I think, 4 NCAA championships you've called, 10 Final Fours, 28 NCAA tournaments, and I have a list that goes on and on and on. Also, a unique fact about him that I love to tell is that he is an alumni of Glenville State University. So, Mr. Valentine, we appreciate you so much being with us tonight.
It's an honor to be there. It's an honor to, even though I don't live in West Virginia, but I'm back there in thought. So let's just put it that way.
There you go. You graduated now from Glenville. I went to Glenville. I showed up at Glenville about the time you were leaving. So I started up there in the fall of 80, and I think you graduated in 80, probably in the spring of 80, I'm guessing. And what's your memories of Glenville? I'd just like to hear that.
Well, I can tell you something about the memory of Glenville. Glenville State College is the place that made me grow up.
Awesome.
Basically, I went there in 1976. I played baseball there for 4 years. A lot of people wouldn't know. I showed up there. My mom had dropped me off with 6 boxes. So I didn't know what a suitcase was or anything like that.
Right.
And I didn't know whether I was going to stick it out. And I hung in Glenville, and I met some wonderful people. And they took a shy kid, and they nurtured me. And next thing I know, I was on the map.
Right.
That's all I can tell you. But Glenville is a great place.
Yes, it is.
If you want to send somebody and be secluded and be around some good people. So I owe a lot to Glenville State College.
Awesome.
Trust me.
Awesome to hear that. One of my memories is when I first started up there, my freshman year, the first semester, my first week up there, listen to that had that big clock tower. And that clock would chime on every hour. Lay there and listen to that thing. I'd be so homesick I couldn't stand it. But after a little while, it wore off. So
that's right.
Yeah, good place to be, and it was a neat place. And like I said, kind of secluded, and but very nice people and very nice university now, and just a good place.
Absolutely, a great place. In fact, I probably would have, if Glenville or Gilmer County would have had a nice airport, I probably would have stayed there. Seriously, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep, no doubt. Well, listen, before we get into some of your present day stuff, tell us about your start in officiating. I think a lot of people, especially nowadays, say, "Why would you get into something like that?" Tell us how you got started in officiating, and then kind of peruse and talk about your years of officiating and what it's done for you and what it's meant to you.
Well, I actually got my start in Glenville State College. I was always around sports. I played baseball and had some friends on the basketball team. And I was a manager on the college basketball team for like 1 or 2 years. And I was with Coach Carney as an assistant with the girls, coaching girls. Yep. And that got it started.
Right.
And I got started refereeing. This is going to take a while.
That's all right.
I was student teaching at Western Junior High. I was student teaching, and the teacher, Miss Karen Pickens at the time, was the junior high basketball coach. Well, Mrs. Pickens went. She's going to have a child, and I ended up coaching like the second or third game at Western Junior High in front of the assembly that we had, and may rest in peace, Mr. San Marcio was the principal.
Right.
And I'm coaching the girls team, and we got a full house like in our place, and I'm taking over, and there was Dick Messenger, and may rest in peace, and Shorty Hardman.
Yep.
They were refereeing the games, and of course at the time I figured, wait a minute now, I'm on my home court. One of the officials worked in it worked in my junior high, and one was a local guy, and we were playing Buchanan in a rivalry. So I figured, hey, we got it all stacked up against us, and that's how coaches think. So I'm coaching, and next thing you know, I get after Dick Messenger about a big girl from Buchanan. And I kept saying, get her out of the lane. Get her out of the lane. That's the famous coach line. Get him out of the lane. Get him out of the lane. Okay?
Right.
Okay? And that's because you can't match up with that player. That's what the deal was. Okay? So now he says, Coach, that's enough. That's enough. So I kept pushing. Next thing I know, technical foul. I said, okay, no sweat. Okay, all right, I'm going to take one here. So I decided, okay, well, I'll leave Mr. Messenger alone. So I decided to push on Mr. Hardman. I pushed him a little bit. So he gave me a technical foul. So now I got 2. And I'm going, but surely I won't get 3, okay, before the half. So at halftime, just for the half, I pushed the envelope again. Well, next thing you know, Dick Messenger gave me a technical foul. That was my 3rd at the half. My 3rd. First half. Okay. I mean, at halftime, I'm going out the door, and Sam Marcio comes out. We're staying on the corner and says, Mr. Valentine, I need to see you in the office. He said, we don't do that at Western Junior High. We don't do that. He says, you just coached your last game here.
Man.
True story. True story. Man. So I didn't coach anymore. So I'm going, well, what do you mean? He says, we don't do that here in Weston. He said, we run a very disciplined type ship. So, Lord behold, I go back, and I'm on work study at Glenville. And there was these 2 person of colors. They are refereeing Gilmer County guys games. So I'm the janitor. I'm cleaning the floor up. I'm on work study. And next thing I know, I'm going, man, these guys are having a good time out there. And they're having fun with the fans and having fun with the players. And so I go down to the laundry room, and I decide, well, hey, how do you guys become one of them? Okay, that's what I ask. It's well, you need to join so. So the next semester, I got into a class with Mr. Bob Bell Castro. He was the baseball coach who I played for. So he had a basketball class. So I started refereeing basketball, and that's how I started. Wow. And I'd go to Normantown, Tanner, Sand Fork, and I got like $6 a game, and you work a doubleheader. And I started out with a pair of Chuck Taylor Converse shoes, which now people pay $40 for. They were like $8 back then.
Yeah.
And I had a pair of jeans that was frayed on the bottom, like strings, and had holes in them. And of course, people now, that's a fashion statement.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, so I got this referee shirt is black, white, and pink. Okay, and the reason why it's pink is because I don't know how to wash laundry.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got this pea whistle and a shoestring. That's how I started to referee at Glenville State College, and I tell that story, and people go, huh? Yes. And that's how I got started.
That's awesome. Little did you know, getting fired from coaching was going to lead to a great career in officiating.
Right. Absolutely.
That's a funny story. And I was a basketball coach, a high school basketball coach for 30 years. So I understand the relationship there with the officials.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. But I tell that story everywhere. I tell people can't believe it. They go, what? That's how you got started. That's how I got started.
That's awesome. Well, at least it give you a good perspective right off the bat. This is what you can and can't do, and how much to put up with.
Right.
That's awesome. That's a great story. Now you've called a ton of huge games in the NCAA. Of course, like I said, people like us that watch college basketball know and have seen you on TV hundreds of times. But I know probably, there's been some coaches and maybe some games that stick out in your mind. Who's the toughest coach you ever officiated other than yourself? Who's the toughest coach you ever officiated for?
Well, I'd probably say that a lot of people don't know. I came to college basketball. I was like 22 years old. I was a kid.
Right.
I was a baby-faced kid, and I drove to Charleston, South Carolina for $150. I was teaching school at John Marshall High School.
Oh, okay.
And I drove to Baptist College, which is Charleston Southern in Charleston, South Carolina, where I live now. Uh-huh. And I got $150. I got a speeding ticket going down, and I got a speeding ticket coming back to teach school. That's a true story, okay? And I'd have to say that probably some of the toughest ones once I got my emotions under control, I'd probably say one of the toughest guys that I ever dealt with, and I tell everybody this, it is usually a coach that is usually not violent. Because if you get somebody that's sitting over there, I don't have any names, but they sit over there and they're not saying nothing, that's kind of paranoid. It makes you paranoid. Okay? I tell a lot of people that it takes you paranoid because when I got started, everybody chirped. I was in the Big Ten. I was in the Big East. Everybody chirped. Right. That's just the way it was. And I came through the era with Knight and Katie and them. You got used to everybody chirping. Everybody chirp. Right. But I'd have to say probably one of the next to that is that I'd have to say the toughest guy I ever dealt with, the most volatile guy would be Coach Knight. And
surprise.
And the reason why I'd say him, he was a very intelligent individual, very intelligent and very calculating.
Right.
And I had to learn him. He was the only coach that I was able, my first year I was intimidated from because I used to watch him on TV when I was a kid.
Right.
And he used to have these fishing shows. He's having fishing shows. He's having fishing shows on Saturday. And he did. And I'd write him a letter about fishing before I got into the Big Ten. When Lord behold, when I showed up on his games, well, you were actually thinking, hey, me and this guy may be okay, but you and this guy are not okay. Okay? Because he's trying to win any way he can.
Right.
And I'd say probably like I dealt with Coach Knight. And the reason why is I had a boss in the Big Ten, Mr. Bob Wortman, may he rest in peace. When I got hired into the league, I was 26 years old. And Mr. Wortman used to take me to the games in Old St. John Arena. And I'd be reffing. I was in the Big Ten. And he'd take me to the top of Old St. John's Arena in Columbus, Ohio. And we'd watch Ohio State and Indiana. And he told me, he said, I want you to get up here and I want you to watch. Every time Coach Knight says something to him, watch the official and see what he calls. Okay? Watch what he calls. He said, when you go to Indiana, Coach Knight's going to yell and scream and all 22,000 fans are going to get quiet.
Yeah.
That's just the way it was. It was like a megaphone. He says, you need to learn him because if you're going to make it, you're going to have to go through that guy.
Right. Wow.
And Lord behold, I did learn the guy. I learned all his personalities. I learned how he was. He pulled his sweater down. He'd be content with you. He'd roll his arms up and he's going to go to work on you. If he was in a close game, he would never mess with you.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
When he went on the road, he didn't mess with you. But when you went back to his place, he would really put on a show on you. So I basically had him down. So I'd have to say that I had to do my homework when it came to him. Because he was a great coach. Right. He was a great coach. And he basically had a lot of people intimidated. That's what the deal was. Yeah. I mean, it was ruled out intimidation, in which back then that's what coaches did to officials, attempted to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, you can. I mean, you see that, and you see, and you know from coaching myself, officials, what you can say, what you can't say, how far you can go. And I think a lot of them today, maybe not the younger ones, but the veteran coaches, they know what they can, you know what I'm saying? They know what they can say and what they can get away with. And they know when that technical's coming. I always felt like that. But with Knight, sometimes I just felt like he just lost his mind sometimes. Well, obviously,
right.
I mean, through the chair and all that sort of thing. So yeah, I just think he would get raged out of control at times.
Well, yeah, he would, but anyway, I give him credit because having him, John Thompson, Gene Cady, Jim Calhoun, they made me the referee that I am today.
Right, awesome.
Because I'm glad I went through those situations. The game now isn't so volatile now. I mean, right now is like I go out there now and it's like I don't even break a sweat because these coaches are different now. Right. The times have changed. There are more rules. And it's just very, very, very rarely now that you get anybody in a college game that come out of whack. Right. Very rarely. I mean, but now you might have it in, local
Right.
High school, it's totally different. But in my game, it's the rules that have definitely sat down. Put the coaches at bay.
Right. Yeah, it seems to have changed. It definitely is not as like you said, not as volatile as it once was. You've called a ton of huge games. Of obviously the championships, the Final Fours, and that sort of thing. Are there any games that stand out in your mind that were just the most memorable games you've ever been involved in?
Yes, I've had so many.
Yeah.
I'd have tried to say my first Final Four in '91 between Duke and UNLV.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
I'd have to say that because the year before I was home in 1990 and I watched UNLV beat Duke by 30 in the championship. And the next year I'm in Indianapolis, and I'll never forget, I'm sitting in a room and I'm 31 years old at the time. Okay. You're talking to a guy that went to the Big Ten at 26 and 5 years later, he's in the Final Four.
Right.
Okay. Yep. And I'm sitting in a room and I didn't get no sleep the night before. I'm all nervous. I'm in the Final Four. Oh my God, I'm in the Final Four. You're going to be 80,000 fans. I'm all nervous. I got relatives there. I got everybody there. So when they gave out the assignment, Dr. Nichols says Duke and UNLV. He says John Clargerty. He says Tommy O'Neill and Ted Valentine. And I went, huh? What? Huh? Okay. And he's like sitting in a room, and I asked Tommy O'Neill, he was a veteran. He was in his 40s, and John Clargerty was in his 50s. And so I'm the young kid with him. So I kept poking Tommy. He says, who we got? He says, Duke and UNLV. And about 20 seconds later, I go, who we got? Duke and UNLV. Okay. Then I asked him again. He says, we got Duke and UNLV. He screamed out. I was so nervous. Okay. I was so nervous. And we're on the court, and I went, my heart, my throat is thumping through my neck, and it's like my aunt and my uncle's there, and I'm drinking all this water. And when you get nervous, you start drinking all this water. Okay, you just start drinking. You just drinking whether you need water or not. So now, I don't know. Something came over me. I don't know what it was. Something came over me, and I had Mike Krzyzewski when I was in the Southern Conference, but he didn't remember me because I remember one night I was like 23 years old. He had Amaker was on the team, and Danny Ferry. He tore me out of the frame. He tore me up. I didn't know what to do. He had me all spinning. My head was spinning crazy and all kinds of stuff. So now, years later, we fast forward. I'm in a Final Four game with him, and I walked over, and something came over me very calm. And I turned to his bench, and I looked at his bench. I just looked down his bench. I just looked down. And he's looking up at me, picking his fingernails, and all of a sudden he looks up at me, and I go, Coach, today's a great day, isn't it, Coach? I had a big smile on my face, okay? Well, when the ball went up, I just started reffing. I just did. And then as soon as I got a whistle, I said, I can do this. And then when I kept going, I said, I can do this, and I can do this, and I can do this. And the rest of it after that was just history.
Right. That's awesome. Wow.
Good stuff.
What a life this must have been. You've got to see the country. You've got to meet people. I'm sure in your days at Glenville, you never imagined was going to happen. This officiating thing has been a wonderful life for you, I'm guessing.
Well, let me tell you what. It actually made me grow up. That's number one. Thanks to Coach Carney, Mrs. Carney, Coach Lilly, Coach Dawson, Coach Milligan, Mrs. Chico.
I know all these people.
Okay, all them people. The late Dr. Dollinger. If it wasn't for all those people, and Bob Del Castro, they took a young kid that didn't say a lot, that was very introverted, and they took a young kid, and he ended up into something. Okay, and it was all because of them, that one-on-one that I used to get from them, and they were caring people, right? And they knew you by name, and they cared about you, but you had to put the work in. Mrs. Piercy, all of them, you had to put the work in to get something out. Right. I'm grateful to I.L. Morris. He gave me my summer jobs in the summer.
Right.
I'm grateful for him. I mean, it's just because a lot of people have been so good to me at Glenville that catapulted me into my career.
Right. Wow. That's awesome. Awesome to hear that. Yep. Especially being an alum myself. That's awesome to hear.
Right. Right.
Now, do you still officiate today? Are you still active?
Yes. Okay. I am I just worked the ACC semifinals. In fact, you said it's 4 decades. It's 5 decades.
Wow.
Next season will be my 41st season.
Wow.
At the Division I level. And it's like I'm still a kid.
Yeah.
I'm still a kid. I'm just very refined. And next year I'm going to come back with a vengeance because I had to shut the season down because I had back problems and surgery and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I got to the ACC tournament, and I'm looking forward of going back to the next year. And I don't see no end in sight. I mean, I don't see
good deal.
No end in sight. It's like that when I go into the arena, it's just different. It's like everybody knows you.
Right.
The fans know you.
Oh, yeah.
All the coaches, the Carolina coaching staff. I had every single player on that team when they played.
Oh, wow.
Duke, every single coaching staff.
Yeah, I guess so.
I had them that played.
Yeah.
All these coaches I've had when they played. Yeah. I've had them when they played, and I've had their sons when they played.
Yeah.
And it's just it's a great thing. The Anthony kid that played there, I told him, I said, I had your dad, and I called your dad's and I called your dad's 5th foul against Duke. And the kid looked at me and said, yeah, I called your dad's 5th foul. And every time I see Greg Anthony, he waves, but there's just so many memories.
Right.
That I go down like memory lane, and the Fab Five, I had all of them guys when they played.
Wow.
And when you've had them, I've had Shaquille O'Neal. When you've had all these guys, you start looking around going, you know what? I really have had a very luxurious career.
Yeah.
Really.
Yep.
One thing I'll share with you, and then I'll ask another question.
Okay.
My wife and I are in Charleston, and Charleston is like vacation land, South Carolina.
Right.
If any of you know, it's not Charleston, West Virginia, where I live. It's Charleston, right. South Carolina.
Yeah,
and nothing wrong with Charleston, West Virginia, because I go back there often. But we're in an outlet store, and we're walking around, and my wife is from Brazil. She's a former athlete, and she's taller than I am. So we're walking around in one of the stores buying, and next thing you know, some people kept looking. And my wife says, baby, these people keep looking at you, okay? I go, I don't care. I get used to it. Everybody's looking at me, okay? So all of a sudden, they come over and say, you're Ted Valentine, the ref. I said, yeah. But I don't say a lot. I try to tiptoe through a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah,
I tiptoe. But people are very good. They're not vicious. They're not mean.
Right.
And all of a sudden, the whole family comes over, and the guy says, you're a legend. I said, well, what do you mean? He says, I followed your career since you started back in the 80s. I said, what? He says, yeah, I followed you and named all the Final Fours I was in. I said, what? This guy knows everything. So he says, you're a legend. And then people are going, whatever. So now my wife's going out the door, and she's in front of me, and she turns to me. She says, come on, legend.
Yeah, I was going to say, I bet that went over well with her. She probably had some fun with that one, didn't she?
Yep. Oh, yeah, definitely.
You know, I know that officiating has changed, obviously, for you and for all of them. You know, today with officials, you know, everything is on TV. Every game is on TV. Everything has 15 different angles. Everything has slow motion. And, I know they use the replay to help them. But at the same time, you know, people only remember or see the missed calls or what they think is a bad call. It's got to be tough on officials today. And I know, you know, I know for sure here in our area, they're having a hard time getting young officials, retaining officials, just because it's become so difficult and such a difficult thing to do. Plus, you know, our society today is a lot different than what it used to be when it comes in terms of respect and that sort of thing. What do you think, you know, what do you tell somebody, a young person, you know, that may be considering it or has said, you know what, I was going to do that, but now I've changed my mind. I have no interest in that because of the way things are. What do you tell a young person? Because we need young officials, you know. Well,
you know what, I understand.
Yeah.
Until they put some laws on the books. That's number one.
Yep.
Somebody sent me a video of games that they had in a church. And the referee out of Atlanta, Georgia, I don't know if you've seen it or not.
I did see
it. Okay?
Yes.
That is why people are not getting involved with it, because you may love the game and there's no laws on the books to protect people. And people, this is a different generation. Yeah. See, back when I started reffing, guys used to just run their mouth. They would never do nothing to you.
Right.
Okay? Yeah. They'd have too much pride. Right. They would. Right. Okay? Because I used to work those 8 or 9 rec league games in a row.
Yeah.
And then I'd go to places, and I used to ref in the streets of Pittsburgh and all these cities. That's where I learned to ref. And yeah, people would get volatile, but they never mess with you. Right. That was the thing. They would give you a lot of that wolf music, I call it. Yeah. And this generation of people is just different. Right. And I don't know what to tell these young people, because it's your safety. Right. I mean, it's just, we are dealing in a different generation. The generation nothing is ever my fault.
Right. Yeah.
It is always somebody else's fault that the team loses.
Yep.
And the other thing is, the parents are like their children.
Yeah.
They are like their children, because most of the parents are in their 20s and 30s, and they're not any older, because grandma today are probably in their 40s.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yep. They're in their late 40s.
Right.
And there's not anything. You got young people having children, and that's what's the only difference with society, is that you don't get no sir, no ma'am. Right. You get nothing. Right. You get nothing. Because I see it on my level that it gets that way, but I deal with it a little bit different. I go to the coach and says, hey, you might want to take him out, or you know me, I'll put him out. Okay.
Right.
And then I try to correlate a deal to get him the way I want him.
Right.
But with the way society is now in high schools, it's a problem, and it's a shrinking thing. Not just there, it's all over the country.
Yeah, kind of figured it was.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And there's no control, and people fear for their lives. And you can't blame them. I can't blame them for, $25?
That's right. I don't either. Not one bit.
Okay.
One thing here that helps, I think, this was in play when I coached. The officials, when they go into a high school gym here, if there's a fan that's unruly or saying things to them, they can have them removed immediately. And the administration has to remove them, and they'll stop the game and get rid of these things.
Right.
That's helped some here. We haven't had the violence and that sort of thing. You always have somebody carrying on, but it hadn't been like we saw, like you said, in Atlanta with the guy getting attacked yet. We haven't had that here yet. Hopefully we don't have.
Well,
so
but you get that all over. You get that all over the country, and I talked to my ex-mentor, Bob Montgomery, out of Moundsville, West Virginia. Mm-hmm. And he was my mentor, and he's the one that brought me up reffing. I coached baseball with. We talk about it all the time.
Right.
We talk about there either is a willingness that people want to know what the bottom line is, depending on what it is. Some people are not conscientious, that's the other part, but some people won't go the extra mile. If you ask somebody to get in a car to go to Tulsa, South Carolina for $150, they look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah.
They would.
Yep.
And that's one thing, is nobody don't want to put no dues in.
All right.
That's part of the process too.
Yep.
That's part of it. And that depends on what area you're from. They don't want to put their dues in. Like it took me, I refereed all summer.
Right.
And I put my dues in, and I still put my dues in, even though I don't have to.
Right.
And it's just that there's not a true answer for this, and you guys are one of the fortunate ones around Oak Hill area that you're able to do something, but there's other places like the inner city. Some places, they're playing games in the afternoon.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know how to solve the situation, but it's just a different generation of people.
Yep, I agree. I agree with you. And it's disheartening, but I think, at some point, somewhere along the line, something's got to change, and I think it will.
Right.
I think if people want to keep having the opportunities for their kids and that sort of thing, they're going to have to change,
Well, I totally agree with you. And I used to say this years ago, and God forbid that nobody takes a weapon to one of these games.
Right.
God forbid.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And I don't want to call it, but I'm certain it may happen someday. I mean, it's just people are just different. It's just, I mean, you see it. I see it when I'm in my car.
Oh yeah.
If you're in your car and you're not speeding up the way they want you to,
right.
you get all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yep.
So now I don't even look at them. I just look straight ahead. I don't turn my head to the left. I just keep going straight ahead. I get over and I keep my head straight, and they might slow down. And I don't even look at them because I know if I look at them, it's confrontational.
Right. That's why I try to explain to my wife. I hope she's watching tonight because I always tell her this road rage is going to get her shot if she don't chill out a little bit. So somebody blows at her, she lets them know about it. And I'm like, well, you just stop and go on and quit worrying about it. You're going to get a shot.
Yeah. I mean, because they want to slow their car down and they want to yell at you.
Right.
I've learned I look straight ahead. I don't even I don't look to the left or to the right. I don't even look because hey, it's just a different world of people. It's just what we just live in. It's just different.
That's right. It is. All right, Mr. Valentine, we're running short of time here, and we got a little segment here we do in every show. And I didn't know for sure if I wanted to do this or not, but you're an awful pleasant person, so I thought he'll play along. We have a little segment we call Shoot to Three. Of course, that's my basketball coaching background. In this Shoot to Three, what we do is we ask you 3 rapid-fire questions that have absolutely nothing to do with anything we've talked about tonight, probably nothing to do with anything we've ever talked about. And we give you 30 seconds to answer the questions. If you don't answer them in 30 seconds, I send my co-host, Mr. Gorby, down to South Carolina, and he works on your kneecaps if necessary. He's a big guy. But usually we don't really send him out. That's
okay.
But am I getting $150 if I do?
We'll give you $150 there you go. All right, here we go. If you're willing to play, here is question number 1 and Shoot to Three. If they were going to make a movie about Ted Valentine's life, who would play the lead role as you?
Who would play the lead role with me? I'd have to say you would probably have to get Samuel Jackson.
There we go. Samuel Jackson, Denzel Washington, and who's the other one? We'll get 3 that's very popular. I can't remember.
I thought somebody say Tay Diggs one time.
Maybe.
I can't remember.
Well, I'd have to somebody like Jamie Foxx or somebody probably.
Foxx is a multi-talented dude.
Yes,
man.
he is.
Yes.
He do it all. He's a comedian. Yeah, he's good. All right, good answer. All right, question number 2. If you could make a phone call right now seeking advice from someone other than a family member from at least 50 years back, who would you call and what advice would you seek?
If I'd call somebody, I would probably call my ex-coach, my ex-teacher, Robert Montgomery.
Awesome.
I would probably call him because I've known him since I was 13 years old.
Good deal. You know, I heard you were rolling off some of those names there a little bit ago. One that stuck in my mind was Whitey Adolphson. I had Coach Adolphson for a health class, I think, at Glenville.
Right.
Yeah, he was awesome. Yeah, he was an awesome guy. All right.
Yes.
Question number 3. You get to pick the way you die other than old age. What way are you going to pick?
What was the question again?
You get to pick the way that you're going to die other than old age. What would be your choice?
I would say that my choice would be running up and down a basketball court.
There we go. Good answer.
Okay, that would be it because that'd be the time I'd get all the fans to come to their feet.
Oh, man.
I had an official. I had an official one time. You'll like this story. I can't remember his name. He's from Charleston. Called for years. I'll get his name, but he was telling me a story one time. We were in the dressing room before the game, and he was getting dressed, and our JV game was going. So I was in there talking to him. He said, Coach, he said, I think I'm about ready to retire. I said, oh, really? I said, you've done it this long. Why retire now? You're already 75, Well, he said, the other night I was doing a game down there. He named the place, and he says, and I get started in the game, and I hear this voice up there, and I can't remember his name, but he said, this voice kept saying, Smith, you're terrible. You're terrible. You suck, Smith. He said, I refused to look up there, and he said, just kept going. He's like, man alive. That dude wore me out tonight. So he said, so about a week later, he said, we're at another game down in Charleston area. And he said, I hear it again. Same voice. Smith, you suck. You suck. You're terrible. You're terrible. He said, I couldn't take it. After about 3 quarters, he said, I looked up in the crowd. He said, it was my wife.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I said, did you throw her out? He said, no. He said, I knew better than that. He said, I had to go home. I had to go home.
Oh, man. That's pretty good. That is good.
All right, I'm going to ask you one more question because we do shoot to 3, but hey, we got 4 here, so I'm going to ask you a 4th one. All right. What's something that you're good at that you wish you weren't?
Right now, I'd say with the way the air is now, refereeing. Okay. Okay, on the air I'm in now, it was better.
There you go.
Okay, it'd be right now. Okay, be refereeing right now. Right now. Because all my buddies have abandoned me. They left me. They retired.
They're done. That's awesome. Great answers. Hey, listen, I want to tell you again how much we appreciate this. This has been a blast.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it's been a blast. It's been very interesting. And I know we got a lot more stories we could hear about. So one of these days we're going to contact you again and say, hey, you ready to do this again? And hopefully you'll respond and come on again. We do appreciate it so much.
Yeah. Well, where's you guys' show at usually?
You can
where's
watch
the show?
You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on Facebook or Roku TV. And,
I know, but where are you in person sometimes?
Well, every Thursday we do it either like right now, tonight we're in Oak Hill at the bowling alley. We go to some other establishments around Raleigh County, Nicholas County.
We've been in Summersville. We've been in Lewisburg.
Yeah, we go around different little, usually sports bars, that kind of thing. Just
and the reason why I say it is one of these days I got to show up live.
Absolutely.
Okay? When I'm coming through there. That's right.
Yes.
Coming live.
Absolutely.
Okay, I remember that.
Hey, you let me know, and we will make sure there is a spot, and we'll have a seat for you. Absolutely, that'd be awesome.
All right. Hey, it's been a great evening. Thank you very much.
We enjoyed it so much.
Sir.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, Mr. Ted Valentine. That was awesome. Another great interview, man. These are good.
I know
we keep going overtime. I know Darren's sitting there going, guys, y'all going to get me killed. My wife is going to shoot me if I don't get home sometime tonight. But we get talking to him. Gorb, it's hard to stop, man.
I know.
You just listen to these stories all along. I mean, how often you get to talk to somebody that's done those things,
50 years of wrestling.
Wow, that's unreal, isn't it? Can you imagine?
He reffed 6 years and was in the Final Four.
That's crazy, isn't it? Crazy. I can't, I don't know how they do it at all, much less for that long.
And you're thinking what people were talking about Duke. This is when like Christian Laettner and Grant Hill and Bobby Hurley was playing for Duke.
Yeah.
So
that's and then UNLV. They
had Larry Johnson.
Yeah,
maybe?
Johnson, and had several guys that went to the NBA. Can't remember all his name, but And I remember watching that game. I watched that game from Elliott's Bar and Grill in Jody, Washington. All right. That's going to do it, as we are late again. But again, it was lots and lots of fun, and we enjoyed Mr. Valentine. That was a lot of fun talking to him. Dr. Crist, Bernie called in here. Bernie Chong, I think was his name.
Yeah, I think so.
Dr. Crist, Bernie Chong, Muggy McLeod helping us out. We appreciate all those folks, and most especially the old Glenville grad. I got to get that in there, Dave.
Yeah, man.
Ted Valentine. That was awesome. We enjoyed it so much, and we hope you enjoyed it as well. And we're going to sign off for the night. Again, Courtside with Coach Crist every Thursday night at 7:30. We'll be doing some baseball, softball games here, too. We'll let you know about those. We appreciate you joining us. That's Dave Gorby. I'm Greg Crist. We're Pinheads of the Gorge. We appreciate them for letting us come in. We appreciate you for watching. Good night, everybody.